Yidhari, the octopus fire, and she is soon in the game. But before she arrives, let's talk about her. Hello everybody, welcome into the channel, my name is Hako. It is late as all heck, I'm kinda tired, but let's do this. So, I've been playing Yidhari extensively on the creator beta server for the last 2 weeks. She is quite the character. Now before any character comes out, I usually do a video like this where I talk about the character and I kinda talk about every single aspect of the character. The good parts, the bad parts, the things to keep in mind, and some general pull advice, etc. So, now we interrupt the regular programming for an ad break. This time sponsored by Top Up Live. It is your one-stop gacha shop on the internet. What if I told you that animators are 30% off? Well, they are at Top Up Live. And I told them, if we're gonna do this, you better throw in a good deal as well. And the deal is, you click the link, you get an additional 12% off. So Top Up Live, it is my favorite current website because it's the only one that's giving me money. Alright, let's do this. And the way I like to do this is I break it down into different points, and there's also timestamps to every point. And if you just want pull recommendation and my pull rating for her, go to point 9 right away. So, point 1. Fun. Let's call this fun and why. How fun do I think Yidhari is, and why do I think that she is as fun as she is? So, in my initial impressions of Yidhari, I had put her at a fun rating of 7 out of 10. So, like, absolutely not bad, but not one of my favorite agents. The more I learned to play Yidhari, the more I started enjoying her playstyle. I will say she might be the agent that took like the longest to click for me. Some agents you pick up, you start playing, and you immediately like you feel like you know what you're supposed to do. It just comes naturally. With Yidhari, it did not come very naturally, and I had to adapt with a lot of hours under my belt to start really having her click for me and then really enjoy her. So, fun rating 8 out of 10. The things I didn't like in the beginning is that she's felt a little bit clunky, and that she was a little bit locked into animations, and I don't know, she just played a little bit more like a For Honor character than a character I really enjoy in Zenless Zone Zero. Now, after having gotten used to her to the extent that I've been using her, I don't find her as clunky. She's an 8, she's not a 10, so she's not in my top, top 3 agents, but she definitely makes it into the top 8. If you know me, you know that I like when I have to time stuff. So perfect dodges, parries, etc. Yidhari is all about timing. It's all about parrying the enemy, and I find that to be very, very fun. So number 2, strength. How strong is Yidhari? For Yidhari, I'm giving her a strength rating of 7.5 out of 10. She is a strong character. And her being a rupture character means that she excels at, of course, rupture content, which is also as incentivized as attacker for attacker content. Number 3, this one ties in. How is Yidhari versus the other ice carries? Now we have quite a lot of ice carries. I myself, I have a maxed out Ellen, some people pulled Hugo, and everybody and their grandson pulled Miyabi. So how does Yidhari compare to the rest of the ice cast? And the big question is she stronger than Miyabi? In certain content, yes. If it is pure anomaly content and you're really good and have a real decked out Miyabi, she will beat Yidhari, probably, but Yidhari will beat Miyabi on anything where attackers and ruptures are incentivized. And she's obviously miles ahead of Ellen and miles ahead of Hugo. And like I said, one of the good things about Yidhari that adds more value to her than both Hugo and Ellen, for example, and Miyabi to some extent, is that she is really good at both rupture and attacker content. Meanwhile, running Ellen or Hugo against anything that is rupture shield, meaning that they have a very high base defense, requires quite an invested Hugo or Ellen in order to get through. So if she is as strong as Miyabi, but she brings that to also attacker and rupture content, shouldn't she be a 10 of a 10 in strength? Well, to me, a 10 is kind of reserved for a character that really, basically power creeps. That is a big step forward. Yidhari is kind of in line strength-wise with Miyabi. It's only she is it for rupture and attacker instead. So not a massive leap, but rather in line. Number 4. Content she excels in. What content does Yidhari excel in? What bosses are good for her? Obviously, Shi defense, it's great. And she's also one of 2 characters now that has something called Ether Veil Wellspring. A lot of new buffs, they require Ether Veil Wellspring to be active in order for the buff to do anything. Her best boss, where she is the most potent, is the new boss Wandering Hunter. This boss has 40% extra defense, which makes attackers having to work hard, and anomaly also having to work hard. The boss also gives you sheer damage bonus whenever you do assist follow-ups. So, like Amiyabi and enough invested Ellen and Hugo, they can get through it, but Yidhari breezes through it. Now, this is her good boss. Outside of the Wandering Hunter, there are honestly quite few bosses where Yidhari is really good, just because they've been on a crusade to make sure that all recent bosses, Miyabi is kind of terrible at, just to make people play something else than Miyabi. And if you've been paying attention, you can probably tell that, most Deadly Assaults, like the last 6 ones, most of them have had very bad bosses for Miyabi. Defiler, one of the newer bosses that we see a lot, resistant to ice. And if we look at this rotation, Miasma Priest, Defiler, Notorious Dead and Butcher. And now this is Anomaly Dead and Butcher, so even Yidhari, depending on the team and investment, might struggle a little bit on this one. So yeah, there are much more Deadly Assault bosses that Yidhari struggles against rather than what she excels against. Sadly, she gets hit by the Miyabi curse as any other ice character does, where they're hellbent on making sure that you cannot use Miyabi for everything. All of the other ice agents also eat shit because of that. So, she is great for the Wandering Hunter, but so is Manatu. I'm just saying. Now, for number 5, let's talk best teams. As of time of recording, the best team is Yidhari, Yufufu, Lucia. Best in slot team. Now, Yufufu is great, but Yufufu is very interchangeable as well. If you take out Yufufu and you slap in a Lycon, where are you Lycon? There. Your results are gonna be quite similar. The difference might be a few thousand in Deadly Assault. So with Yufufu, say 50,000 on Wandering Hunter, with Lycon 48,000. The big one, the very, very big support, is Lucia. Now I'm theorizing that Dial-In is gonna be the best in slot stunner. Maybe we'll find out more info on Friday. But basically any stunner works. That's the most flexible slot. You can run a Kolida, you can run a Pulchra, you can run a Trigger, you can run a Xingyi. Is that all we got? Yeah, stunner position is very flexible. And also, if you don't have Lucia, or Lucia is busy with Yishuan, for example, you can slot out Lucia and you can slot in a Pan. Pan is kinda the budget version of Lucia. And as of right now, Pulchra and Pan are probably her most free-to-play friendly options. You can also make lighter work, but in order to do that, you either need an attacker or a Caledon. So a lighter team for Yidhari would maybe look something like this. I also have a showcase showing all of these teams that I'm talking about. You can also switch out Caesar and put in a Orphe. This team also works great, especially against a boss like Wanderer that is weak to both ice and fire. So I wouldn't say that she's super team reliant, although there is one team that really, really makes a pop, and it is any team that has Lucia in it, because Lucia is such a massive boost to any Rupture carry. But she's also a very contested pick. Yishuan wants her, Manatu wants her, Banjue I'm sure is gonna want her. So yeah, they're shielding Rupture very hard right now, so chances are that you're gonna need all of your Rupture agents in fighting force against different bosses, and there's only one Lucia. So just as with Yishuan, Lucia is broken as a support, but there are other options that can make do. For number 6, when to pull, when not to pull. Let's start with the negative side of things. When not to pull Yidhari. The obvious one is when you don't want Yidhari. I think Yidhari is a fun character, and I like the Firens. I like the Firens a lot, and I think that Yidhari's design is hella cool. I've liked her since the early beta footage, where she was called Lucia and she was a battle nun. She's an extremely cool character, but if you don't want her, don't go for her. I don't think it's gonna be a meta unit that is gonna be looked back upon when we're in Season 3. and like be a standout shining star of importance meta-wise. She's absolutely not a bad character, but she's very much in line with what we have, which is, good for power creep's sake. But as I went over in the point before, Ice doesn't really have too much to do currently. Now there is a new boss where Yidhari excels, but we also got Manato for free on Lucia's banner, and Manato is very capable of getting very good scores on that boss. So if you don't like the design, you don't like the gameplay, I could see some people finding their favorite agent in Yidhari. But I could also see some people really not vibing with that gameplay. Because if you're not into parries and like timing stuff and like, a little bit of slower combat almost, you might not have a great time with her. And this is where Zenless is so goated. We get to play the character extensively through events, the story, and also their demo. So like we can play the character when before we actually pull for them, so we can make a more informed decision if we want the character and if we will enjoy the character or not. Now, when to pull. If you like Octomomi, if you like her design, if you want to go for her, go for her. Now, one of the best things with me having access to the creator server is that I can give you hands-on information and experience from a character. I will tell you if a character is dog water and not worth your pulls or your time. Now 9 out of 10 banners in Zenless are goated, and it's a very well thought out and functioning and really good agent. In Yidhari's case, I would say that also applies. She is very fun, she is super cool, and if you want to go for Yidhari but you're worrying, am I making are you making a mistake and you're worrying that, it's a bait banner and you're bricking your account, yada yada, don't worry, go for Octomomi. And obviously when to pull, if you want another new competent ice carry that will be able to take care of any sort of attacker and rupture ice content, and honestly she's strong enough so she'll probably be able to get through ice anomaly rupture content as well. You probably have Miyabi for that, but if you want, you can. And also if you're like me and you really like the parry kind of gameplay style, she's probably right up your alley. If you're a fan of fighting games like Guilty Gear, Street Fighter, which is all about doing a bunch of combos, she is your gal. She's absolutely amazing and excelling at just doing that. So TLDR, when to pull, when not to pull, listen to your heart. Do you want Yidhari? Go for Yidhari. You don't want Yidhari? Don't go for Yidhari. Your account will be super fine pulling her, it will also be super fine skipping her. And she's absolutely not a bad character whatsoever. Even running a free-to-play engine, Manato's A-rank engine, I've gotten 50,000k in Deadly Assault, together with Yufufu and Lucia. She is extremely strong. Now, number 7. Good things to keep in mind. This is just gonna be me throwing all the stuff I could think about that I feel needs to be factored in. The reasons I'm making these videos, I never want to persuade someone to really get the character unless I feel it's another new super meta-defining character and I really think that you should pull them, then I lay it on a little bit thick, like Yusua for example. But these videos are made with the intent of giving you as much information as possible, because I don't want to tell you pull or not pull. I want to give you enough information that you can decide, because everybody's account, they will look vastly different. Everybody's account's needs will be vastly different. So I'd rather supply as much information as I can, and I leave the decision, and then I leave the decision making up to you. Now, for the first thing, the Miyabi curse. Like I said, they've been hellbent on making sure that Miyabi struggles against newer content. That trickles down on Yidhari. And it of course trickles down to, Ellen, Hugo, any other ice carry as well. I haven't really properly gotten to use Ellen in ages against anything that matters, just because they're hellbent on making sure Miyabi stays on the bench. Second good point. Next patch, we're getting Banjue, we're getting Dial In. Now, we don't know what those characters might do. I suspect that Dial In might be very, very good, and a very good investment for the account. So if you're on the fence, I would also recommend maybe holding fire a little bit, pulling it, not pulling Yidhari day one. Let other creators test out Dial In Banjue first, and we can give you a proper answer Like, is she worth skipping and going for those instead? We don't know. We have no idea. But the patch after that, it seems like we're also getting, what's her name? Yeshuang, the new Void Hunter rumored chick, the sister to the guy from the Subian Temple. Might be like the big middle season units, like, season 2's Miyabi. Just be aware that that's a fact. She might be coming. Third good thing to talk about. Like I said, she can be quite flexible with her teammates. But the standout, absolutely most goated one is Lucia. And like I said, Lucia is hella busy, supporting Manato, supporting Yishuan, and if you're also going for Ban Yue, well, it's gonna be Ban Yue as well. Right now, Rupture is in a severe lack of actually having good support for the class. Also, good engines. Number 8, I want to talk about investment reliance. So, how dependent is Yidhari on investment in order to function really, really well? Do we need their engine? Do we need mindscapes? Do we need specific characters? And you know what? Let's slap on a value for this. On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is really dependent on specific teammates and really dependent on their engine and maybe really dependent on a mindscape. That would be 10. I'm willing to give her a 6. 6 out of 10. So a little bit middle of the road. You can get away super easily without running the engine. Grillo Wisp, which is Malto's engine, is absolutely fantastic. It's so good. Xingming Birdcage, also so good. With Xingming, you'll see a reduction of overall team score in the assault of around 7%. Grill of the Wisp, around 10%. Which is a very small step for a signature engine. Usually the step count is bigger than that. So I wouldn't say that she's super reliant on an engine. She's also not super reliant on any of her mindscapes. Mindscapes 1 and 2 are great. 1 in particular, and also 2 in particular. Fantastic mindscapes that vastly changes up her rotations and basically her output. The mindscapes are good, but they're not needed for her to feel complete. Now, the kinda ish dependent teammate in order for her to really shine, like we've said several times now, is Lucia. She is very flexible with her stunner. And I also feel like the power level she's at right now, Yishuan, she has peaked. Yishuan is not gonna get stronger anytime soon. Yufufu and Lucia are such good support for Yishuan. I cannot see them making either a better support to fill Lucia's role or a better stunner that would overshadow Yufu. That would overshadow Yufufu in Yishuan's case. So I think she's reached her peak. Meanwhile, Yidhari I think has a lot of more room to grow with a proper stunner that benefits her in the same way that Yufufu benefits Yishuan. So not reliant on her engine and also not reliant on her mindscapes, not reliant on a specific stunner, and one of her best stunners is a free-to-play stunner, Lycon. However, why I still give her a 6 is because she's so much better with Lucia than without Lucia. So, for the last point, pool value. All of this summed up, and this is also why I have this point at the very end, because I feel like it's a good build-up, so you can see what I factor in when I set this value, which might be the most important value. I would argue that the fun value, our first point, is the most important one. But a lot of people, they want to know the pool value. So, what pool rating do I assign to Yidhari? How good and valuable is she for your account? Now, my initial pool rating of Yidhari was a 7 out of 10 that I did in my 24-hour impression video. I'm sticking to that. I was debating to lower it to maybe 6.5, mainly because of the Miyabi curse. Simply, Yidhari has very few content where she actually excels, as the content is right now in the game, because they keep giving us bosses that are made to not be accessible to Miyabi, and Yidhari and all the other ice carries, they also eat the shit from that. But ice carries, Like there's no easy accessible available ones. They're all limited characters. And Yidhari gives, more value than Hugo and sadly than Ellen, because she excels at rupture content and attacker content. Meanwhile, Hugo Ellen is mostly used for attacker content. And also, hopefully, the devs will let up a little bit, from the gas of trying to block Miyabe out of content in the game, now that they're also giving us Yidhari. Usually, whenever they release a character, they also give us even more bosses, that works for that character. Also, her being one of the only characters that can activate the Moon Whale Spring has to be assigned some positive value. There are right now 2 very potent Deadly Assault buffs in the game that are basically only active if you're in the Wellspring buff. So, being able to split Lucia from Yidhari and have 2 rupture teams where that buff is active is going to help you out massively if there's rotations where there's more than 1 rupture boss, which is what we're seeing on the live servers currently. So, pull value 7 out of 10. Not a must pull, but she's a great pull for anybody that likes her gameplay and really wants to go for her. I say go ahead. Last little bonus one, number 10. My pulling plans. So, I really like Yidhari. I don't need Yidhari at all on my account. I have maxed out Ellen. I have Miyabe just like everybody else. I don't need Yidhari. I want Yidhari. 1, I like the deep sea Firans. They're cool as all shit. And I've also grown accustomed to her gameplay, and I would miss it dearly if it ends with the test server being gone. Her M1 is amazing and it is so much fun. What I will do is that I will skip her engine. Kraken's Cradle is great for her. Xingming Birdcage does the same thing-ish, minus a little bit of ice damage sheer force. Grillo Wisp is also good. I have Grillo Wisp, I have Xingming. As of right now, I don't see a single time where, Yishuan and Yidhari would be on the same team. So what I will do is, if I need them both for content, I'll just grab the engine from Yishuan and slap on Yidhari. And instead of going M0W1, I will be trying to go M1W0. So I'll try to get M1 because that changes up how she plays. And then I'll settle for a slightly lesser engine. If I can get 50,000 score in Deadly Assault on a boss, great. If I can have even more fun, but only, get 47, I'll opt in for that. Now, from what I've seen, M1 gives an equal boost to engine, so, the score won't take a hit. It will just be more fun. So that is what I will do. So, everybody, these videos are made with the intention to keep you informed. I'm not here to sway you for one way or another. I don't want to sell you a character, and I don't want to unsell you a character, if that makes sense. I want to bring all of the information that I've gathered and my experience during the last weeks. On the test server, I want to bring and post that information on you so you can make a more informed decision. Now, these points are great, or well, I hope, but the best pulling advice comes from yourself. Listen to your heart. Do you like this character? If you like the character, go ahead. If you don't like the character, but you're afraid you're gonna struggle if you don't get the character, skip. Your account will be fine, whatever you do. She is a fantastic and a very unique agent. Overall, I would say that I'm very happy with the kit. I think one small little gripe is that Ellen, she feels like a shark. I feel like they've looked at a shark and tried how can we make it feel like shark gameplay? You roam around quick, you go in for the bites, etc. I don't find any similar threads with Yidhari and her gameplay. It doesn't feel like Octopus gameplay, if that makes sense. I know some people raised it as a critique, that it feels like the tails are a little bit slapped on, as an afterthought. I might agree half to that. I think that they could have done more Octopussy with the gameplay. Other than that, I'm super happy. At first, I was sad that I'd lost my battle nun, but now I'm happy that I have my battle puss, Octopus battle puss. I'm happy I have my battle puss. Everybody, let me know your thoughts down below. What's your pulling plans when it comes to Yidhari? And if you appreciated the video, feel super free to leave a thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a big hug. Until next time, Hako out.